What up, folks? I'm back once again on this rainy day doing another video game review, and this time I'm doing the review of Terminator 2 on Judgment Day, based, of course, which is based on the classic movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, which is the sequel to the classic Terminator, came out in the early 80s. Uh, Terminator 2 Judgment Day was also released on the Super Nintendo, Game Boy, Sega Genesis, and quite possibly Sega's Game Gear. I'm not 100% sure about Game Gear. If anybody knows for sure about the possible Game Gear version, mention it in the comment section. But the one I'm going to, oh yeah, it was released in the arcades too. I would have forgotten that seriously. But anyway, I'm going to be reviewing the NES version mainly because that was the only one I played. This particular game was made by LJN, the faithful adapter of many other classics, i.e. Turtles, like X-Men, Wolverine, Back to the Future, and all that. So let's get into this. The premise of the game is pretty much based on the premise of the movie. So if you watch the movie, you know what to expect here in terms of the premise, where the T-1000 was chasing after John Connor, and the T-800s, which was starred by Arnold Schwarzenegger, pretty much saves John Connor from the T-1000, and the T-800 did say in the movie that John Connor sent him to save John Connor in the early 90s. You got the If you didn't get it, it is a tongue twister. I know, but you have to watch the movie to really get the gist of it. But anyway, this is like when you look at the game, you will notice that the stages come from the movie. You will notice that the stages come from the movie. Like with the first stage is where you pretty much start off at the parking lot of a bar where Arnold Schwarzenegger, where the T-800 takes the clothes and the bike of the one guy and the sunglasses and shotgun of the other guy. So the stages are pretty faithful to the scenes of the movie. And another thing that you will notice that the music, the soundtrack for the game is dark. I could honestly say it's just as dark as the movie soundtrack is, even though I don't understand why they couldn't use the soundtrack from the movie to put it into the game, because there have been other games that have been made that's based on the movie that use the music from the movie. So it's kind of like, but other than that, it's kind of like from an overall standpoint, the game is it's pretty much faithful to the movie. Pretty much a faithful adaptation of the movie from an overall standpoint. And this is the only time I've seen LJN do this, being like that one of the games that they made is actually faithful to the source material. But with that being said, the execution of it wasn't all that good. I would pretty much say that the whole thing is mediocre. Like with the graphics and the level design, when the game came out, it was mediocre, both of them. And now the truth of the matter is, the graphics and level design of the game just didn't age well. And the same thing can be said about the soundtrack. When that came out, it was pretty much mediocre and hasn't aged well, even though the soundtrack of the game is as dark as the movie is in terms of the soundtrack. Again, I don't know why they couldn't use the soundtrack from the movie to the game. And the controls is just a mediocre button mashing hit punch fest. Specifically at the first stage, you know, so it's kind of like it's not as bad as the other games that LJN has made, but still it's not the best. Given them, this is one of the reasons why LJN has been given the reputation of slashing the movie tie-in and making it into an outright turd fest if you want to know the truth about it, you know. And now, as far as the score is concerned, I can honestly say that I can give it like a 5, you know, because the fact that it did pretty much because it was Terminator 2 Judgment Day was a faithful adaptation. Was a faithful adaptation of a movie from a general standpoint. Just that the execution wasn't there. Plus, another thing is that, and this is something I found out from watching the one Angry Video Game Nerds episode of the Schwarzenegger games. He pretty much mentioned, or either that or the one about the Terminator, where he talked about how at the end when you face the T-1000, you do run into a possibility of running out of ammo, which is kind of strange because in the movie the T-800 had enough ammo to use against the T-1000, and matter of fact, the T-800 pretty much used a grenade launcher against it, and the T-800, the T-1000 pretty much fell into the container full of hot metal as a result of a blast, you know. So that was pretty odd. That was pretty odd for them not to program enough ammo for you to use, you know. And another thing, and this is like a side note, because I just thought about this before making the video. It seemed like Alien 3, the movie, in terms of the movie, the Alien 3 movie seemed to rip off how Terminator 2 ended, you know, where the hero / protagonist end up dying in hot metal, a container of hot metal. Then again, maybe it's just me. Maybe it was like coincidental. But anyway, as far as the score is concerned, I would give it I will pretty much give it a 6 for 2 reasons. Terminator 2 Judgment Day is not as bad as the other turd fest that LJN pushed out, and it was pretty much faithful to the source material, even though it wasn't executed very well. Now, with that being said, if you want to talk about other LJN turd fest like Alien 3 or Back to the Future, you can mention it in the comment section. If you want to talk about Terminator 2, which I'm talking about, you can mention that also. If you like this video, don't hesitate to thumbs it up. And don't forget to click the subscribe button. This is your boy 59, Big Mike 5989 signing off.